We are streaming live, it says. Let's see how true those claims are. How are you, folks? Let's see. Original sound, we need that. And yeah, well, the big hang up is Facebook because it often doesn't work. It says sending data. So I hate that. We got a new camera set up here. But we know we're on YouTube. How are you, folks? Let's see who's on YouTube. Ba 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 da ba. Let's see. YouTube. Wow. Well, how about that? Uh, let's see. Let's see if I have any viewers on YouTube already. On Twitch, we're on Twitter, we're on Twitch. Uh, that's great. That's great. Let's go into streaming software. And let's do. Yeah, I hate. Let's see. Well, let's not hate. I got time for hate. But what people have time for is how lame, uh, you know, Facebook is. I mean, Meatless Monday Meetup. Let's do this. Sorry, folks. The two of you that are listening. Stream key. Okay. I'm going to. You know, uh. Okay, yeah, let's try using the stream key because then. Okay, so what did I just copy there? I copied the server URL. Interesting. Uh, okay. Really? Oh, I see. No, we don't want to use stream key. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how to do this. Live stream. Go live now. Blah blah blah. Something. User percentage. All right. Well, let's. Anthony, what's up, my friend? I'm all love, no hate. I know, right? For Facebook, man, I got something for Facebook. I don't know if it's love, but once again, Facebook just does not cooperate with this multi-platform streaming thing. YouTube, no problem. Twitch, Twitter, no problem. Working perfectly. What the fuck, YouTube? All right. Well, I ain't hating. How are you, folks? Or folk? There's at least 2 or 3 folk here. Let's see if anyone's over on Twitch. I got 10 followers on Twitch. That's a start. And in case someone says something in the chat room, let's put a Oh, I'm not logged in? Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, well, I tell you, Twitch, there we go. Twitch has sent me a code. All right. Okay, cool. So Twitch is working fine. YouTube is working fine. Again, hello, Anthony. And Twitter is working fine. Yeah, Facebook, you look bad when all these other ones are working fine. It's tough to reconcile that. Here we go. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. All right. Our heart goes out to Sasha Johnson, by the way, right? Did you see about this? She's one of the kind of vocal figures in Black Lives Matter. She's an quote-unquote activist, but, just one of the folks speaking up. And she got shot. Shotgun wound to the head. I mean, come on, people. You can disagree, but, I mean, I wouldn't want to shoot Ted Nugent. I mean, there's nobody that comes to mind real fast that I disagree with as many things. But, not going to shoot the dude. So, really a shame to see that. Very tragic. But our heart goes out to her. And, the ironic thing, she was shot in South London. And I say ironic because they hardly have any guns there for per capita and all that. Check. Do I have reverb on my voice? Hey, yeah. There we go. We're in the cave now. Hey, outside the cave, I see my brother John. Yeah. I'm experimenting, folks, with a little reverb. Yeah. I'm finally getting my mixing desk really set up here. So, experimenting. I would never have it that extreme, but hey, that's not bad. I'm in kind of a concrete room now, in the basement of a studio. It's perfect. Scott Fisher, what's up? Long time no tune in. Okay, cool. I'm between meetings. Your lunch today. Thank you, my friend. Starting right off with where I like it to be. What the hell did people eat? You had a chopped salad, man. That's it. You had me at chopped salad. And some Madras lentils from Trader Joe's. Okay, good. As I always say, you're like, my wingman on the Trader Joe's notification thing. I find out from you all the cool new veg things that are happening at TJ's. And they do. They come up with beautiful stuff. So the Madras lentils, that sounds great too. Wow. The holy lentil. I haven't had lentils in a little while, but I love them. And they're such a staple, not only of good vegetarian protein sources, but historically, they're so important. I've read some stuff about the Roman army where they for many of their travels, lentils was one of the things, and you would pay people sometimes in lentils or in salt. Salt was incredibly valuable in times of ancient times, antiquity. Salt was just a very precious commodity, and from what I understand, from the etymological point of view, the word salary, the S-A-L, sal, it's the same word root. Somewhere along the line, if you look in Latin and Romance languages, there's a time when they paid. I read about it for the army. I don't know if other people were using this as pay, but salt was super valuable. But on the road, if you were taking over big chunks of you know, the Mediterranean area and taking over all of, you know, where Greece and Turkey and most of Europe is, and where North Africa and parts of the Middle East, all those places that had different names, when the Romans took over, sent their army, a lot of times that army was running on lentils. Did you know that? Yeah. Easy to carry. All you need is water and, like I said, a little salt if you had it, and whatever local stuff, you know, oh, wild onions, or here's some greens that we recognize, or, you know, if you found any manner of things you can cook with the lentils. But you had that solid protein, fiber, vitamins, minerals source. Whether they didn't know those exact details, but they just knew we got energy from this little humble food. So I salute the lentils. I salute your lunch, Scott. Steve Hershey, what's up, my brother? I've been watching a few of your videos, man. I keep meaning to reach out to you, but I've been so crazy. Wow, so fucking crazy. I'm glad I got to Monday, because it's been a crazy, like, 5 days. And a couple, starting Wednesday, it gets a little nutty for just a couple days. But I watched your video on EQ, that was one, and then I watched another one on mixing drums, I think it was. There's another one on compression. That comes up a lot, of course. And then I saw one, I was starting to watch it, and it said, video removed by account. I don't know what happened. Was there a technical problem? Maybe on my end, I couldn't open it. Anyway, good to see you, my friend. RB Kratz and Lori, hello. I reply with hello. Ya tú sabe, tra! Benny Rodriguez, ¿cómo está usted? Necesito practicar en español. ¿Por qué? Hablando, hablar. How do you say future tense? Hablando. Con una persona de el grupo Haken, el grupo de rock progresivo el señor es Diego Tejeda de Ciudad de México, ¿okay? Nació en México, y Diego está en el grupo Haken. ¿Cómo se dice keyboards player? Tocar de keyboard, tocando synthesizer. Diego Tejeda. Y esta semana, 2 semanas, el 4 de junio, el 9 de junio, señor Diego Tejeda, en mi programa en miércoles 9 de junio, y hablando con Diego Tejeda de Haken, muy bueno grupo progresivo. Más de las personas en Haken son ingleses, pero uno mexicano es Diego. Claro? Okay. I'm going to practice my Spanish, and I'm going to work on that for when I'm interviewing Diego. He's a friend. He's become a friend. And for those of you who didn't understand that, I'll be interviewing Diego Tejeda from the band Haken. Amazing band. I love them. And what I love about, and they're kind of a prog metal, prog rock band. What I love about Haken is the right thing, but some people say Haken. What I love is how Diego his keyboards are still audible in this super heavy band, this rockin' band. I mean, they're, and really interesting too. Lots of dynamics, lots of dark and light, not just the whole time. It's really a great band because there's songs, there's melodies, and there's dynamics. But in the heavy shit, you can hear this guy's keyboard. So he's really adept at just getting in there and picking tones and stuff that really work. So I'm really interested to interview him. He's got an incredible rig because they tour all around the world. So he's been able to develop some cool stuff. So I'm always cross-promoting. That's that's coming up soon. I'll talk about a few other interviews. Thank you, Benny, for launching Practicar en Español. Practicando. Frank Bellino, wow, that's, I thought you had, I thought you were starting to explain a recipe with vegan butter and meatballs. You're saying, wow, it's sold out at ShopRite. You know, this is, exactly, I've been seeing this more and more, like there's a certain creamer we use, just a silk plain creamer, sometimes the vanilla, and you'll see a whole row where like 16 can go, double row, empty. And I'm always like, then order more, but I see that section of milks, and I like to talk about this. Should we call it milk? I don't know. I get it. It's problematic. I like this trend to spell it differently, M-Y-L-K. Okay, that's kind of cool. Or if it's one word and it's not milk, that's cool too, because that's clearly saying not milk. But I get it. I get how some of these industries, I know the beef industry and some of these other industries are suing. They have lawsuits in some of these states to prevent there being something called vegan butter. They don't want to hear about it. And I get it. I'm a words have meaning guy. And without going down that road, there's words that have meaning and we're changing them. And it's like, come up with another word. So I'm not a huge fan, actually, of stuff called chicken and stuff called beef when it's made from soy or wheat. I'm just not a fan. Again, unless you call it like not chicken or not beef. You invert the word, then that's fine. It's a new word, right? It's a compound word. Or, I'm okay with this too. This is just my opinion, folks. I'm not saying this is an authoritative thing, but I do think after nearly 20 years in retail, I'm bringing a perspective to where you can have problems on this. I guess I'm okay too with chicken, like C-H-I-K apostrophe N. You see that sometimes, and that again, sure, because someone sees chicken and they're gonna go. First off, people who eat the flesh of a dead chicken are gonna go, wait a minute, they're trying to fool me. That's like cheese, C-H-E-E-Z. So it stops them, and they're going to read it and say, oh, it's wheat gluten, ugh. Or, wow, my serum cholesterol is up for the 5th straight year. I'm not able to, let me maybe stop eating chicken, which has a ton of cholesterol in it, moderately cholesterol. Shrimp has more, I believe beef has more, but chicken is pretty significant. What is it? 16, 18 milligrams in a gram? Let me get that right. Scratch that until I look that up. But that's from memory. Chicken cholesterol milligrams. What did I say? Like 16, 18 in a gram. So it says 140 grams, 123. So I was a little high. What's 1 gram? If I divide each of those, so it's, let's see, 1 gram. That's going to be, do they do it by 100 grams? Is that the measure? Okay. So maybe I was thinking about 100 then. I got to factor off. Anyway, in 100 grams of chicken, let's see how many ounces. That's what I need to see in an ounce. Anyway, 88 milligrams cholesterol has in 100 grams of chicken. But shrimp, I believe, is much higher. Shrimp, in 100 grams of shrimp. 189 milligrams. Wow, so shrimp is over twice chicken. Did you know that? People eat shrimp like it's light. I'm having a shrimp salad. 189 milligrams of cholesterol. Now we can get into shrimp and the fat, and there are good fats in shrimp. There's absolutely good omegas and good, health-building fats in shrimp. But Humans eating cholesterol, it's clearly a problem. We have a real issue with it. And, you know, we obviously make enough in our livers. We don't need to eat any. But I just point that out because people often think shrimp is really light. But so 100 grams, huh? That's the standard kind of measurement. So comparing across the board. So 88 in chicken, 189 in shrimp, 0 in tempeh, 0 cholesterol, folks. 0 in any plant food. It's important to remember that. No, there's no cholesterol in avocados. I've heard that for years. People just confuse. There's a lot of fat in avocados, which is fantastic. And consistently, just like I'm saying the fat in an egg is fantastic, the fat in shrimp or lamb, there's a lot of good things about those fats. The problem is, with the lamb, with the shrimp, you're coming along with so much other stuff in the package. The acid-forming element of it, the cholesterol, the straight-up serum cholesterol, that the good omega-3s and the good iron and the good vitamin A and D and, you know, other vitamins that might be in there, it doesn't matter. You're getting such shit with it. It's like finding out that cocaine has vitamin C in it. Okay, that's not a reason to have cocaine. Anyway, so beef is 90 milligrams cholesterol. Chicken was 88, so marginally, you know, different. But the big one is shrimp, 189 compared to that. Wow. So just, you know, just some thoughts there as I randomly, you know, referring to these names of foods and things like that. One more I want to check is lamb, because I know a lot of people are turning to lamb. So 100 grams of lamb, 97 milligrams cholesterol. So lamb, higher cholesterol than chicken or beef, but much lower by 80% than shrimp. So quite interesting. I love this stuff because it just gives you a little perspective on what we're sticking in our craw. Butter, interesting. Butter, 100 grams of butter. To be fair, whatever 100 grams of chicken or beef is, you probably wouldn't eat a piece of butter that same size, right? But there might be that many over the course of your day, right? If you start a day with the muffin or something with butter, or 2 pieces of toast with butter, and then at lunchtime you have another sandwich with butter, or let's count the cream in your coffee, right? Everyone always says it's just a little bit. Well then, A, why bother if it's just a little bit? But B, that little bit stacks up. But 215 milligrams of cholesterol in 100 grams of butter. I didn't realize that was that high, or I forgot. I used to have all these numbers in my head 20 years ago when I was in the middle of doing this as a professional. But that's, again, to be fair, if we're comparing 100 grams of everything, I'll say it a million times, you wouldn't eat 100 grams of butter like you would 100 grams of chicken, or some other thing. But I'm also answering that myself by saying, how much dairy are you having throughout the day? The butter, the cream cheese, the cream in your coffee, 2 or 3 cups a day. The butter that might be in that breading, in that lunch you had, the chicken. The butter that's melted on broccoli later on in the day, and then some ice cream, and maybe there's cheese on any of those 3 dishes. So you can see, why we have epidemic, not to overuse that word in the middle of an epidemic. No, it's a pandemic. But we have epidemic cholesterol issues in our country. Epidemic. It's mind-blowing. And we just sit here like coming up with new pharmaceuticals, banging our heads on the wall when it's right in front of us to kind of say, let's readjust. So here is CDC, who've been our our go-to quite a bit the last 14 months. CDC, I'll put this in the chat. CDC on high cholesterol. Okay, so yeah, not enough Americans taking their cholesterol drugs. Wow, some interesting stats. I'll put these up. This is 5 years old, these stats. More than 12% of adults aged 20 and older had total cholesterol higher than 240 milligrams per deciliter? I don't know what the DL stands for in that designation. But it's just a density, 240 milligrams per volume of blood, serum blood. But it's high, and more than 18% had high-density lipoprotein levels less than 40. So the HDL, you want that to be a little higher. The HDL and the LDL, you want that lower. HDL is the good cholesterol, right? LDL is the bad cholesterol. That confuses people too, because you want one a little bit up and one down, and anyway. So more than 1 in 10 adults over 20. That's the part that catches my eye. Over 20. So at age 20, they're measuring already high cholesterol. Wow, that has come down, because I remember it would be adults over 35 or something like that. Over 20. And I've heard this, and I've heard even teenagers, small percentage, having issues. It goes on to say that slightly more than half of the U.S. adults who could benefit from cholesterol are currently taking it. So they're saying about 86 million Americans, somewhere roughly around there, 55%, 55, 43, it says a little more than half, 86. Let's call it 84, 85 million Americans. And with all this stuff, you can assume they're shooting low, because these studies almost never count undocumented people, right? Which is what? I don't know. No one knows. 25 million Americans, 30 million Americans, 35 million? We don't know, because they're undocumented. But they're our friends and family, and they're hard workers in our economy, and they impact our general health picture. And they don't get as much checkups and healthcare and all that. Having said that, as we talk about all the time, when you get into the economic thing, they ironically, many percentage points eat a little bit better, because they're eating simpler foods. I'm not politically correct, so we are speaking about people from the Hispanic diaspora, the Latino, Latina, Latinx diaspora, whatever each of them prefer to be called. And so they're eating, a chunk of their diet is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, more plant-based, smaller amounts of meat, more eggs than chicken, leaner cuts of meat, and lots of vegetables. And so would be interesting to someday do a study on, but 85 million Americans, according to CDC, who could benefit from cholesterol drugs, and the CDC is saying just more than half, just over half are taking those drugs. So, I don't want people taking more drugs. I want them just doing natural therapies, but the fact that they're not even, taking care of it. Let's see, 93 million U.S. adults over 20 have total cholesterol levels higher than 200 milligrams per DL. Wow. Okay, I said before, small percentage of children, and I've read this elsewhere. They also say 7% of U.S. children and adolescents age 6 to 19 have high total cholesterol. Wow, think about that. 7% of U.S. kids, 6 to 19, have too high cholesterol. I mean, that's mind-blowing, right? How are you 10 and 13 years old? Well, we know, right? Look at the SAD, which is the standard American diet, the SAD. Yeah, that is, okay, so, a DL is a deciliter. Okay, a deciliter is 1/10 of a liter. Okay. So picture that much blood, like a liter, so a tenth of that. I'm just, on average, but we've all seen a liter of Coke or something, and then, so 1/10 is a liter. So that much of your blood has 240 milligrams of cholesterol. Wow, you can see milligrams, like you measure them out in whether you're looking at tablets or something. That's a lot of fucking cholesterol in that blood, just doing a very, very, rough kind of thing. We have a problem. What? Don't shoot the messenger. We have a major, major cholesterol issue. So I will put this link in the chat. To finish up what it says, again, 7% of kids between 6 to 19 have high cholesterol, high total cholesterol. High cholesterol has no symptoms. So many people don't know that their cholesterol is too high. A simple blood test can check these levels. I'm having my blood test in about a month when I have my annual, and it's always fine. It's always great. Stress does raise cholesterol, and like many of us have had a somewhat stressful year. So let's see. But the stress level's gone way down. Having high blood cholesterol raises the risk for heart disease, the leading cause of death, and also for stroke, the 5th leading cause of death. Serious business, folks. And then there's a map of the USA. Wow. And it shows self-reporting high cholesterol, and the highest rates of high cholesterol, as you would guess, is some of these southern states. One that I live in, it looks like North Carolina, Tennessee, what's that one? Alabama, Mississippi. This is good. Testing me on my states. Looks like, what's that, Arkansas right above Texas? And the other one? What's the one between Tennessee and Arkansas? That's not Nebraska. No. I don't know. Right above Louisiana. What is that? Anyway, I know most of the states. I just can't remember that one. But all southern states, also Kentucky, West Virginia, high cholesterol. Those are the 6 or 7 highest cholesterol. Fascinating. Okay, so let me come back to the chat and provide you with a wonderful little link here. Okay, great. Let me come back to your comments. My lunch today is a delicious protein shake with Trader Joe, Scott, Trader Joe protein. Man, that's so good. This is, my wonderful other half made this, but shakes I can do. I'm pretty good at shakes. I made my own a couple days ago with coconut water, banana, blueberries, 2 scoops of this protein for 20 grams of protein. I think that's all that was in there, just simple. Yeah. This one's spirulina, just regular spirulina on top of the shake. So that adds some protein, a couple grams. Spirulina, apple, pear, acai, coconut water, a little almond milk, and then the protein powder. And always bananas. You always have frozen bananas. And this is one, I've used many of these through the years, but I like this. Been having this lately. I like it because it's inexpensive. It's certified organic, so that's great. Both of those things. And here's one of my biggest things, though. It's not soy. Soy's great, but we overdo it. So it's not soy. Hemp's another nice one. I get that sometimes, but I'm real happy that pea protein and lentil protein, as Scott brought up, has been becoming, a thing. The one thing I don't like about it, they actually use coconut palm sugar. It's okay. It's just a little touch sweet for me, but then I back off on putting as many berries and things. But really great ingredients. Organic pea protein isolate, so they process the peas, they dry them, they desiccate them, they, isolate the protein. Organic coconut palm sugar. So, at least it's this ethically harvested type stuff. And then organic vanilla with other natural flavors. So, and that never scares me. When you really drill down and look into that, that's rarely an issue. It just means they're using tiny amounts of whatever different natural things, cinnamon or bioperine, which is an extract of black pepper, or any number of things. But you do have to keep an eye on them. Whenever you see that, try to find out, what do you mean? I've called companies, I've gone to websites, I've drilled down. Again, I did this for a career. And natural flavors, folks, always check it out, but also don't be afraid of it. First of all, that means it's not an artificial flavor. It means it's something from nature. They do have some regulatory, limits using that term. However, since it could be anything in the natural world, find out what it is. It might be something you don't want. It might be a gluten extractor. It might be from carnauba wax or something from bugs, or or a plant actually. And then what's the one from bugs? I forget the name of it, but it's a resin. So always find out what natural flavors are. But again, I really like this, and what I like is that it's three main ingredients: the pea protein, the palm sugar, and vanilla, all organic. And what are the specs on it? It's 20 grams, I believe, which is why I really jumped for it. Where's the? 2 scoops, which is what I have. 20 grams of protein. Wow, that's fantastic. 75 milligrams calcium, which is just under 10% of your day's amount, but it's a start. A third of the day's iron, less than 20% of the day's sodium, only 2 grams of fat, only 8 grams of carbs. That puts it both at about the 3% of those values. The carbohydrate, where is it? Actually, no, that's not bad. 8 grams of carbs. I thought it'd be higher with the palm sugar. That's impressive. And then it's just got a whole range of amino acids, as any protein, plant-based protein source would have. So it's got amino acids, which everyone here, if you're interested and you're sticking around a weird show like this, you should study amino acids, because they give you a little insight into which ones come from which vegetables and protein sources. And of course you get amino acids in animal protein sources too. My philosophy always is remove not the middleman, but remove the middle animal. Why do you need an animal processing and giving you your histidine, arginine, alanine, your glutamic acid, your cysteine, your threonine, your proline, your serotonin, your tyrosine, your valine, your phenylalanine, your methionine? Why get that from a lamb who's getting it from plants or synthesizing it from elements from plants? Just eat arugula and broccoli and Brussels sprouts and carrots and apples and pears and mangoes and walnuts and pine nuts and spirulina and 10,000 other things. Get those amino acids yourself. So this is something I use for shakes. I get all those things in foods also. So delicious. That's my lunch today. It's all I've had. I was teaching earlier and then came right to this. To your point, Frank Polina, yes, big sales happening in natural foods and vegan foods. Lentils is in that Ezekiel bread. Awesome. So you've been trying that sprouted Ezekiel bread? Is that the one? I talk about so many things on this show. That shit's the bomb, if that's the one you mean. Scott says, okay, the Indian fair pouches are dynamite. Nice, nice good times reference there. Didn't that guy turn out to be a big Republican, right? Jimmy Walker, Jimmy J.J. Walker. Is he still around? He became a big god. Like, what the fuck with these black Republicans? I love them. I love to talk to them, though, and hear. And some of them have some valid points. But some of them, it's like, come on, bro. Really? A tax break's worth that much ass kissing? Jesus. Yeah, so he's still alive. He's 1947. What does that make him? I don't know. 74? 73, 74. Let's see, real quick. How did we get to Jimmy J.J. Walker, right? That's how this show works. Throw me anything, and, you know. So, okay. Appearing on the O'Reilly Factor on July 11th, 2012, Walker stated he did not vote for Barack Obama and would not vote for him in 2012 either. In an interview with CNN, he described himself as a realist independent. Okay, on its own, that's pretty good. And stated that he opposed affirmative action, saying that it has outlived its usefulness. He said he was also against gay marriage on moral grounds, but believed this legalization should be passed, stating it was not worth fighting against. Okay, again, two things I agree with the guy. I don't agree with him being against gay marriage. I'm of course for same-sex marriage, as it is most properly termed. But I get what he's saying. That's kind of a true libertarian view, right? I'll say that again. He's against it, but he's okay with it being legal because why fight it? See, that's kind of something we need to understand in America. If more of us did that, kind of said, no, I disagree with this, but it's going to exist. Guns, abortions. Just say, I'm in a democracy. Things I don't like will happen. Animals will be killed, for instance. I wouldn't want to pass laws to make people eat a certain way. So, but again, it sucks that he's against gay marriage. Walker described his political beliefs in his autobiography, and this is to your point, Scott Fisher. His autobiography is called, why would you call it anything else? The autobiography of Jimmy J.J. Walker is Dynamite. Good times, bad times, our times, a memoir. Okay. He calls himself a logicist, believing in logic and common sense. So there we have it. Jimmy J.J. Walker. Thank you very much, Scott Fisher, for throwing me a line. Steve Hershey. Okay, you saw the... You're referring to my comment earlier. Yeah, thanks, bro. I got to repost my interview with you. Can you put the link here, by the way, in case I forget the link to my interview so I got to remind people. Kevin Ritchie, how are you, my friend? You're having esophageal cardiomyopathy. Oh, God. Sorry to hear that. Esophageal cardiomyopathy. Oh, my gosh. I got to look that up. Wow, well, that sounds like a pretty intense. Well, I'm sorry to hear heart disease. I didn't know that, but we're here to talk about heart disease, bro. Heart healthy talk. And you know what I don't talk about enough on this show is kind of remedial plant excipients and plant medicine and kind of the whole umbrella of herbal medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, and into overlapping with things like acupuncture and, macrobiotics or just there's a lot of stuff you can do actively to reverse disease and to ensure wellness and enhance your immune system and, working on things like chronic pain, working on all the Syndrome X stuff. Do you all know that term? Syndrome X is like an umbrella term for fibromyalgia and lupus and MS and various chronic neurological issues. They kind of lump them together, and rightfully so. They're all inflammatory in kind of causality and connectivity. And I don't talk enough about really important, simple stuff that we've now had decades of research and had the last 30 years of lots of scrutiny and heavy-duty scientific modern research to just support and prove and enhance what we've known about stuff. For instance, turmeric is something that's incredibly anti-inflammatory, incredibly prevalent in the Ayurvedic world. You know, Indian medicine. Indians from India, many of them use and live with and have brought to this country Ayurvedic medicine. And if you don't know that term, wow, great. Go watch some videos on Ayurveda. Ayurveda. Incredible. I mean, and you start getting into substances like Boswellia and, as I said, turmeric, and things that Indian culture cooks with. Ginger, turmeric, fenugreek, garlic, which is, of course, people around the world use it. But you start looking at how all these things, cumin, start looking at all these things that we just know from the delicious food, and you start breaking them down and going, wow, there's some powerful, powerful aspects of fenugreek, cumin, turmeric, and ginger. And then they also find scientifically, when you put those together, you tend to get, so you have all kinds of anti-inflammatory and pro-heart stuff you can do, Kevin, and others. Another thing I'd look for, Kevin, I'd look this up, two things. I would look up hawthorn, hawthorn and the extracts from hawthorn, incredible for heart health. I'd also learn about CoQ10. I'm not a doctor, I don't prescribe things, but I'm an almost 20-year natural foods, natural healing, organic foods professional, and I've seen, I can't even count how many people have done things like hawthorn and CoQ10 and turmeric and red yeast rice extract for cholesterol, and I can't even count how many people have, with their doctor and working with us and working with their doctor and working with the facts and figures on the ground. I can't tell you how many people have completely reversed their heart disease and their cholesterol issues with a combination of natural therapies, changing their diet, exercise, and the whole range of things that goes with that, like yoga and hydrating properly and not smoking and not too much alcohol and all that stuff. Red wine, switching from beer to red wine, the whole list, you know what the list is. But I've seen so many people, I'm going to use the words completely reverse a lot of these things. So my heart goes out to you, no pun intended. So let's see, where is it? Esophageal echocardiography is, okay, I'll learn a little about that. What does the esophageal part, is that because they go down through your throat? Tell me. Interesting stuff. All right, so let's see. I will put a link for hawthorn. Hawthorn is used to help protect against heart disease and help control high blood pressure. Both animal and human studies, I'm not a big fan of the animal studies, suggest hawthorn increases coronary artery blood flow, improves circulation, and lowers blood pressure. Blah, blah, blah. It has a bunch of other stuff that it does. So hawthorn's really decades of great testing and kind of modern science to prove what people knew in the 17, 18, 1900s, all of these kinds of things. That's what's fascinating. Herbalism is incredibly fascinating because when you look at it, it's like, how the fuck did people get this right so many times? And you get into a whole thing of plant communication, right? You get into a whole discussion there, which I love, where herbalists will tell you that, well, people in antiquity were communicating with plants. Those were the witch doctors or the witches or the Wiccans or the herbalists, the people with special knowledge. Many times it's been said they were in communication with the plants. the native tribal people of this continent. That's a major part of Cherokee culture, of Iroquois culture, of Cree. Every different group has these plants and herbs that they use. And a big part of their narrative is, the elders were speaking to those plants and to the rocks and the trees and finding shit out. So anyway, so Hawthorne, I will put that in the link. Good to read about. You're saying yours was caused by fen-phen. Oh yeah, I remember fen-phen. And you're saying you have perfect cholesterol levels. That's great. So the ones I gave before, certain ones should be under 200, another one LDL, HDL, under 90, blah, blah. You've compared to all those numbers. That's great. Because there's average, which is American numbers, and then there's objectively what's good and where it should be. I forget the fen-phen thing. I remember that was a fucking nightmare, though, right? Some kind of warning they had to add to this stuff. Okay, here it is. Fenfluramine and phentermine. It was an anti-obesity treatment. Okay, utilized 2 anorectics. Okay, right, now I'm remembering that. And an anorectic is something that stops your hunger, right? Stops your, craving for food. Okay, so fenfluramine was manufactured by American Home Products, later known as YF. Blah, blah, blah. But it was caused to cause pulmonary hypertension and heart valve problems. Wow. So it was, they took it off the market. $13 billion in legal damages. Holy shit. So, so half of the fen-phen was found to have problems. The FEN, the first one, but the other fen was not shown to have harmful effects. Okay. Fenfluramine is a serotonin-releasing agent, so it chills you out. Is that? Hey, where can I get some? Phentermine was. Okay, interesting. I love this stuff. Takes me back to chemistry class. Okay, introduced in the 70s. Well, hey, man, I'm glad they took it off the market. That's the rare time of this fucking system actually working. Okay, fen-phen. Yeah. So, well, thanks for reminding me about fen-phen. That's old school. Have not thought about that in years. I try to watch my numbers. Good. And hey, you're here every week, so I'm sure you're eating those salads, we're at the tail end of apples and pears and stuff. Those are kind of fall crops, but some good ones. Had some delicious pears the other day. There's a nice ripe pear in here. Or half of one. Wow, so rich. Spirulina can do that too. It has a nice fat note because good fats in spirulina. Okay, so any thoughts or questions, folks? I mean, what did you have for lunch? What did you have for lunch, Kevin? Come on now, kick it down. Let's see. Oh, wow. Icelandic provisions. Okay. That's funny. There's a Shark Tank vegan discussion. Yeah, so I can't even keep up. I look at this veg news once or twice a week, and I forget. There's stuff I want to bring to y'all and say, oh yeah, did you hear about this? But I just forget. So Violife, who I love, This one's kind of annoying. I can't screen share with Facebook. This is cool. They've got this new cheddar blocks, but they're these minis, which is like playing to the market of like, you know, just have a little piece that you stick in your purse or backpack or pocket or pocketbook or a coat pocket, whatever. It's just more packaging, more nonsense. We got to really balance this. There's a cheese place in town here, and I'm waiting to hear back from them to do an interview. Here they are. It's called Dare Vegan Cheese. And they use mostly paper to wrap up their packages, so I love that. They do use some plastic, but looks like they cut it by 75-80%. But it's old school. It looks like it's wrapped up in a little shop in, you know, North England or something, and it's some kind of Wensleydale cheese or cheddar or something, just nice paper wrapping. So when you can, but anyway, so points off Violife, even though it's an awesome cheese. But yeah, they make these little packets now about the size of a candy bar. I wish I could screen share it, but yeah, I don't know. Let's ban plastic, man. Let's start making those wrappers out of hemp or bamboo paper or something. You know, figure it out. Get some kind of, I don't know, combination of seaweed and corn or something, and make this plastic, right, from corn. That'll biodegrade. How hard is this, man? You know we know how to do that shit, but the fucking oil industry and the plastics industry and on, Union Carbide or whoever just gets in the fucking way of this stuff. It's gross. Let's see. Let's search here. Speaking of drugs, no lunch today. Speaking of drugs and heart issues, yeah. Now we're talking. This is the part of the show that's about drugs. Oh, you mean my rheumatologist office still had Vioxx branded swag. I remember Vioxx. I can't remember what it is though. I will look it up, sir. Did I put? Yes, I put the links for hawthorn berries. Read about hawthorn berries, folks. Good stuff. I should just start taking it, just to strengthen this 56-year-old heart. Vioxx. Oh yeah, COX-2. A COX-2 selective non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. It's like a painkiller. Vioxx is also related to the non-selective NSAIDs such as ibuprofen and naproxen. Vioxx is a prescription medicine used to relieve signs and symptoms of arthritis or arthritis, acute pain in adults, and painful menstrual cycles. And it was pulled, huh? Yeah. Okay. Patient deaths. Again, arthritis, folks. This, you know, what's that? What? You know, there's a way to not have arthritis, and I don't know if that's what you were taking it, Frank. Could be anything. If you're, no, I'm sorry. You just said you saw the swag in the doctor's office. Yeah. So that was Merck, huh? Wow. $4.85 billion settlement. Fuck. It's just a tragedy because you can just avoid arthritis for the most part. I mean, we all age. But we also have this psychological thing where we think, well, it has to happen. I have to get diabetes. I have to get heart disease. I have to have open heart surgery. I have to have cholesterol issues. I have to have irritable bowel syndrome. I have to have creaky joints and arthritis. I have to have gout because you just do. You just do. You get older and there's no choice. Those 12 things are going to happen. Wow, that's fucked up. You know, but here we are, you know. Okay. Close that. Let's see. Frank, what did you have for lunch? I hate that I can't screen share, y'all. I've really depended on that. But I'm doing some new stuff with cameras. Stay tuned. Maybe by next week I'll have my multi-camera thing dialed in a new way. And I'm trying to figure out, you know, I'm trying to figure out if something works better than, I hate doing this on Facebook. But you know, part of it that's cool about Facebook is good friends stop by and it's just, people see it and they stop by. It's like I'm just chilling out, sitting on the sidewalk, having a coffee, in this case, having a green shake. Like I'm just sitting there, just chilling on the sidewalk, and people are coming by. Hey, what's up? Hey, Mark Lorano's walking by. What's up, Mark Lorano? Good to see you, bro. How are you, my brother? Just like that. And, you know, it's cool. So Facebook does have that cool aspect. Let's see. Mark Lorano, how are you, man? Where are you these days? Florida, West Virginia, Scotland? I don't even know. New Jersey? Green love, green energy. Man, I love Spirulina. Just started taking that again. I wax and wane, but I've been back on it regularly, and such good stuff, you know, Spirulina. Man. Mark, right? How long have we been eating Spirulina, bro? For as long as I've known you, which is almost 40 years. It was just starting to be in some bars and things like that back then. Then you could get the powder. You can get the powder for quite some time, centuries actually. But I mean, it was starting to become, you know, in some of these natural things. And I remember there was that first drink. It was like a nice, I don't know if it's orange juice or like a lime flavored. I remember a citrus kind of thing, but it was deep green because it was like lime juice, spirulina, and I don't know, flax or something. I'm searching for. Oh, they were in these little, like boxes, like you'd get milk in grade school, the little cardboard box, right? You fold the little beak back and drink it. What was that company? Man, I have not thought of that in ages. That was, and they came frozen. They made a tangerine juice that was just tangerine, and they made a green spirulina thing that was so delicious. And I love stuff like that has gone away. It's like, it's only 30 years ago, and the company came and went, and there's no way to find out what that is very easily. Wow, I'm picturing it right now. What was that company? But everything came frozen. There was these little, 8-ounce little boxes, again, like a little milk box that you got. And that was cool packaging because it was, biodegradable and maybe recycled cardboard. It did have the wax on it, though. But they had a small size and a big size. Man, I wish I could remember who that was. That was good company. Who was that? That was really good company. I guess not. They didn't do their business side. But anyway, Spirulina, which folks, it could save the world. I'm speaking with an astronaut on Wednesday, and I'm going to ask her about spirulina, actually, because I'm going to ask about if you're going out into space and just being in the International Space Station, which this woman has done, that's different because they ferry new food up and they take garbage away and they bring different things. I think water, right? Like a giant bladder of water stays up there, and then they recycle water. I mean, let's face it, urine and all this stuff gets purified on those spaceships, space station. But for long space flight, they've already looked at this. Even to Mars, which would take months, right? They're looking at we got to grow new food. If you're up on Mars, we can't be, there ain't no Whole Foods deliveries or. So you carry a lot, of course. Dried, desiccated food is what you use in space, of course, to save weight and space. Why lift all the water, right? You take the water out of it. Just like these survival packet food and stuff like that. You remove water. It's an amazing, an ancient solution. But one of the things you have in space is the math doesn't work the further you want to go and the longer the time. So what they've looked at is growing new food in space. And that's one of the most fascinating areas to me over the 30 years or so I've read about this. Going back to, the 80s, I was a young space nerd. And one of the interesting things is they turn, of course, to plant foods, right? I mean, this is where the argument breaks down. What, are you going to carry a couple chickens? And figure out a way to keep chickens and feed them and give them, enough water per day and grains to eat and things to, and they like to eat bugs. How do you keep those on and on, right? And then you slaughter them and you're like, wow, we did all that work and the chicken's gone now. And well, we had a dinner and some leftovers the next day, but what a lot of fucking work for a day and a half of food for the 5 of us on this ship. Brings us to plant foods. And so NASA and other space agencies have looked and still are looking intently at, well, how do you essentially have a space-based greenhouse, a part of the spaceship or the space station growing plants. And if you're interested in this, there's a ton of research and data and articles about this. Growing wheatgrass, right? Because remember, what do you need to grow plants? Water and light. It could even be artificial light, but light from a star, in this case, the one next to us, the sun. But you have a lot of leeway there, and then the water. And then plants need, of course, the nutrients, the minerals, the things that are in soil, all kinds of other things too, microorganisms that play into the root system and all that. There's a lot to talk about there. But the point is, very easy to duplicate that, very easy to duplicate different formulas and strata for the plants to be in. Different fluids, hydroponics, basically, right? Anyone here who's read High Times for years knows it's pretty easy to grow plants without real sunlight and in a basement, and the roots are in some kind of compound, which can be very benign and safe. So my punchline there is, not only have we looked at wheatgrass and different types of sprouts, right? Because sprouts grow quickly. They're highly nutrient within a couple of days of growth. You can eat them. The seeds are light and durable. You can keep generating new seeds, right? That's the beauty of plants, right? Plants are inherently self-sustaining. You grow most plants, and they give you the tools to grow more plants. This shit is a no-brainer, folks. Yes, of course, if you raise chickens or cows, they make new ones also. but your kind of math, the difference between 10 cows and what's going to cost you, your inputs and your resources and your land mass needed and all that, to go from 10 cows to 100 cows or 1,000 cows starts becoming colossal versus 10 square feet of 100 square feet of some plant and then 1,000 square feet of that, or 10,000. That math happens a lot easier. You need the land, right? Of course, you would in both cases need more land. But the extra inputs to just grow more plant matter, as I'm sure you can see, is a lot flatter curve, right? It's not going up like that. It's a little flatter by the nature of how plants, reproduce and kind of can fill up a field very simply and easily and cheaply compared to. So we're facing this problem, and I'm glad that big countries are looking at it saying, we can't keep doing this. We can't sustain, using all of the soil, all of the water to, so, all right. Let's see if this is, and then, all right. All right, folks, what's exciting? What's new? I always touch base a little bit on COVID every week. Some people probably are turned off by that, but, it's, since we last spoke, well, let's see. Let me see what my rates are right here in my county. My county is funky because we're a tourist county. We're a tourist city, town, and our whole area is tourism. Breweries. We have probably 50 breweries. Great. I love good, fresh beer made from mountain water. I'm all for it. Do we need 50? I don't know. We also have a couple hundred restaurants. So we're like this foodie town. We're a mountain town, so people love to hike and just look at the mountains. Just beautiful to just drive to the Blue Ridge Highway and look. That alone is a winning, attractive thing. But it gets old. Tourists crawling all over your fucking city 8 months out of the year. It gets really old, and some of them drive like assholes. Yeah, with their Florida plates showing us who they are. Racing around corners, not using signals. There's a big thing in this town, a love-hate of the tourism, because who doesn't love economic kind of, inputs? Great, and even though it's not spread very well, we could still do a lot more with those tax dollars for the schools and for the black and brown people to have more opportunity and more safety and job training and more rehab than locking up and all the different things that are true across America. Even though that money is fucked up where it goes, it does employ a lot of people and provide a lot of services and commerce to small businesses. So I'm down. But the trade-off, especially during a pandemic, is you're getting people pouring in from all around. So it's a mixed bag. So let's see, Buncombe County. Oh man, so we're back on high risk. So I was going to say, I like to look at the New York Times Interactive, by the way, and I recommend that for wherever you are. Just punch in New York Times COVID and your county name or your city name. Really fascinating, really great, lengthy info on any part of America. Also with a timeline. I really like that. Like the one I'm looking at goes back to August 2020 for my county. So you can really zoom in. And they're very clear about how many cases they're talking about per day, per 100,000 people, blah, 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 blah. So I'm reading right now, the county I'm in. Buncombe County is at high risk for unvaccinated people. And not to put that in perspective, that's an average of 7 daily cases per 100,000 people. Again, doesn't sound like much, but that's 50 people a week, right? Getting a case that's, 200 people a month, and that's per 100,000 people. So depends on your population, where you are. So again, it sounds like a low number. Okay, 7 cases a day. What? That's probably that many people die in the shower, right? I don't know. I made that up. I don't know how many die in the shower. But my point is, we've been high, and we were very high even like a month or two ago. Then we went to high. Then it did go down to moderate like last week, and now it's back up to high. I don't know. This is anecdotal, but there's been beautiful, warm, clear weather, so people are pouring into town, and the numbers are up again. Don't know if it's a one-to-one connection. Don't know if there's causality, but for our general area of the country, we stay kind of high. We've been from extremely high to very high to moderate, and then back to high now. So it's a shame. Let's see. So let me go to the top. High risk, yeah. So pull up your county, NY Times, COVID, name of your county. Really cool page, folks. Really, really. You learn a lot, and you can click right there and compare it to the world numbers and to other states' numbers. New York Times really doing some great stuff with helping us understand this. And there's some charts, there's graphs, there's, like I said, to me, no numbers mean anything unless they're in context. And they're really great because they take it back, at least right in front of me, to August of 2020. But I know you can drill down and go even further back to, March, April, May, June of the beginning of this, or it was the middle by then, but you know what I mean. Also, our county percentage of fully vaccinated is 42%. That's great. That's slightly above the national average. I believe the national average is somewhere around, that's about right, because it was 36 2 weeks ago, then it went up to around 40. So we're just at national average. Maybe we're a point or two higher. But other parts of North Carolina are like lower, like 30%, stuff like that. Anyway, I'm not going out unless I have to. It's fucking high risk. And I have a vaccine, but I'm still like not interested in experimenting with, will I get sick on variant B.1617? I wonder. Let's try it out. Yeah. So, all right, okay. The other funny thing is everything's relative. Like everyone in America, our numbers got so high at the end of December through like February. They were so incredibly high because of the double holidays that everyone fucking told us to stay home, but selfish people did not stay home. But the numbers were so high in America that now that they're down, you hear news items like, numbers are down 50%. And you're like, yeah, but 50% of a ridiculous, impossibly high number. So 50% of that is now just ridiculous number, right? That's what we're just not getting that. Some of us are. And what am I talking about? I'm saying when we look at these absolute numbers per 100,000 and then pivot and compare them to where I think numbers are the best. In fact, doesn't matter what I think. Numbers are the best in South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, a lot of those countries for a number of reasons. But when we compare to those, we're still at pretty high numbers. So to that point, just looking at this graph, our numbers here right now in Nashville and our Buncombe County, they look like they're, if I can draw a straight line, they're just about where they were from between August and October last year. They're right in the middle. August was a little higher. October was right almost where we are now. So in between, so if you picture the fucking dire news in August through October, it's very interesting, right? Because we're exactly at those numbers today, but you don't have that sense of direness. And, my point is, it's like the frog boiling in the water, right? We're just like, I'm used to it. It's fine. I'm tired of this. So numbers that we knew were fucked up in August, September, October, and we were trying to address it. We had a president telling us, shine some light on it, drink some bleach. And then when did he get it? He got it in October, right? Early October, when the numbers were starting to head up. And I think he got it in October. And then scoffed at it. It's fine. I have 12 good doctors sitting outside my hotel room and the hospital room and the best drugs known to mankind. You could too. Bunch of pussies. What? I mean, that was his vibe. Anyway, my point being, we're right back to those numbers, but we have a fresh new attitude where we call it time to open, So I'll close with, here's the warnings. Again, this is CDC info coming through New York Times for my county, okay? Here's what it says. It says vaccinated. Okay, and it does split it between, so vaccinated, which would be me, it says indoor activities are lower risk. Well, that sounds a little mealy math. It's lower risk. Okay, then what? So if you have a vaccine, it's a lower risk. Okay, we know what they mean. You can travel more freely, and it's still recommended to wear a mask. Yeah. International travel may be riskier than domestic travel. Great. Fully vaccinated people can resume domestic travel and don't need to get self-tested. International travel may be riskier. You have to check per country. And then they say, wear a mask. Healthcare facilities, correctional facilities, homeless, transportation hubs. And then adhere to whatever the rules are at your local. So supermarkets, things like that are still. So everything you would think. So again, I'm just zooming in on our county right here. So that's what they say for if you're fully vaccinated. If you're not, they're saying indoor activities are too high risk right now. Gyms, movie theaters, non-essential shopping. Yeah. Avoid non-essential travel and avoid events with more than a handful of people. I can't believe those warnings are still current, and we just kind of act like it's all over. Hey, Aaron, what's up? It is, right? The sewer edition. Michael Bernier, live from Howe Caverns. Yes, it is Steve Howe Caverns. I'm thinking about Steve Howe. How do you play that? I don't actually know that song. I played it a million years ago. And then there's a... Yeah, right. Plus I'm sitting up. F sharp again. And it's a scale, right? Yeah. Then Chris Squire. It's all about that Rickenbacker bass line. How Caverns, thank you. Right? A little yes. Nice guitar. Caught me off guard there, folks. Aaron, what's up, bro? Aaron, man, let's get on the phone at some point. We've had a couple texts, but I still want to have you on to talk about your new album and talk about a mostly plant-based lifestyle. I know you're not, as you said, yeah, I'm not 100%, but I eat mostly plant-based. I eat vegetarian, most days of the week, I think you said, which is awesome, bro. That's my message. People don't have to be completely plant-based, but I think we do. I hesitate to say anyone has to do anything, but I think we have to start thinking. We got to start pondering, like, man, how do we cut this back? How do I grow 10% of my food so I'm not, man, right? The situation is so tight, it's so bad that we have to keep improving. So let's do that guest spot we talked about. But yeah, I've got I'm trying out this reverb, and look what I'm using for reverb actually. It's just this. Nothing special. Although here's a cave. Yeah. Anyone in there? Hey! Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Anyone? Who's there? Help! Can anyone hear me? Stuck in this cave. Yeah. Here's the one. This is a little crazy. Yeah. So I'm just going to set it to a pretty normal what do you suggest, Aaron? You're a sound man. You're a recording engineer. Should I go with the room, the plate, or the spring? Right? The vocals have been treated with all of those. I like the plate. Plate's kind of cool. You can actually, hey, yeah, one. Yeah. All right, there we go. There's a little plate, 22 milliseconds. Yeah. All right, enough of that, but that gives you an idea. I'm in the middle of nowhere. That's awesome. Michael, what did you have for lunch today? What time are you? Oh no, you've passed dinner already, right? Are you in Berlin? You're in Germany somewhere. Wait, maybe you're in New York. I can't keep track. I know too many people. But you might be in New York. I think maybe you're in upstate New York or something. Okay, so I've put, I didn't put this link. I wanted to put this because I always talk about Spirulina. It's such amazing, wonderful stuff. Anyone can benefit from it. And I put a little Spirulina because I love it. I've loved it for 30 some years. It's been a part of my life. It makes your hair turn gray. I mean, you can't beat it. No. It could be one of the reasons I still have hair because it's really good for hair, skin, and nails. There's all kinds of great elements that are in Spirulina, especially the essential fats and it's a decent little protein source, per pound, per weight. Fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A and B complex, and again, the essential fats. And a lot of amino acids, more iron than, let's see, I'm pulling up, I just gave you the website, but more iron and more glycine and proline in 1 teaspoon than in 1 large egg white. And I was saying hair, skin, and nails because it's also got silica. I remember it's got silica in it. But spirulina is, it's incredible shit, man. I mean, the ancient Aztecs used it, or just the Aztecs, they're by their nature, many years ago. But a lot of African tribal people used it. I understand it was used in South America as well. Because it grows on ponds, especially in hot areas. It's pond scum. It's algae. It's not a big deal. And now we cultivate it. We grow it on purpose on these sterile, giant swimming pool-looking places. They grow a lot of it in Hawaii because of the temperature and weather. You can optimize that. So humans have gathered this stuff for years and just dried it in the sun. They've just got this, it's pond scum. They got the pond scum and put it to dry in the sun. And then it becomes powder because they're tiny, tiny organisms. It gets all over your hands and fingers if you're playing around with it. But the Aztecs used to blend it in with cacao and different things and make a drink. And that's what's fascinating about antiquity is that people, they figured out what was good. They figured out some poisonous shit, right? People died all the time eating stuff. But for whatever trial and error kind of stuff went on, I love studying food history. And you find these situations where they embraced dandelion root, or they embraced, the various herbs we now use today, whether it's something simple like golden seal, echinacea, or all the stuff in Ayurveda, right? Ashwagandha and different types of ginseng and different types of adaptogens and anti-inflammatories like boswellia or turmeric. It's like, wow, how did they know, man? How do you get this right? Myrrh, right? The 3 wise men, the legendary sort of thing. One of them was myrrh, frankincense. These are things with healing properties. Myrrh and different gums and resins that people can use. They got it right, so it's very interesting. Trial and error. Joey's frothing at the mouth. Let's not eat that mushroom next time. But what's crazy, here's what's crazy about that shit, folks. I'm sure you all heard of this. There's some of these things, like deadly mushrooms, or like the puffer fish and stuff, where they're incredibly poisonous, right? Unless you cook them just enough time. Like, that's fucked up. Like, who's the dude or the dudette where they were like, all right, so these mushrooms here with the blue veins and the weird color, you die as soon as you eat them. We should not eat these. Who's the motherfucker who comes along and says, I'm going to try it cooked. I'm going to just go for this. And I think if you cook it, then we're okay. Wow. Kudos to that person, because, right? Anyway, so I love that. And brings us to spirulina, which is just a wonderful, wonderful thing that can really do a lot for humanity because, again, it takes so little energy and space and resources to grow. And you can grow it in space. And they've tried this. They've looked at ways to use algae as a food source, a protein source for astronauts, which I love because it really, again, hammers home the optimization that plant-based life is all about. We just need water and light and some, aspect of getting minerals to the plants. Um, incredible, Spirulina in space. So please read about that. And if you are questioning Spirulina, let me know, because I have many ideas and suggestions and things ways that you can use them in your stuff. So, oh yes, you are upstate New York, then, Michael. Okay, next to Tone 11, like you literally live next to his house, because I know he doesn't. I know you're probably kidding. Maybe you are. Maybe you live next to Tony. I know he's lived. Him and Andy, she's his wife. They've lived there for many years. Right. So you're the same time as me. I thought so. 4:30. Your dad sold Klamath Lake Blue Green. Yeah. That's awesome. We carried a few brands from Klamath. That's another place besides Hawaii that massive industry. And the Klamath Lake, I think they get some mineral stuff from that as well. Oh yeah, you're 10 minutes from Tony. Okay, that's awesome. Frank Bellina, what did you put here? Let's see. More. Ouch. Assorted horse parts from The Simpsons. Nice one. More testicles means more iron. I know, bro. It's let's see. Bart Simpson. That's funny. Bart Simpson. I haven't watched The Simpsons in ages. Were you folks able to hear that? No, that wasn't. But Frank Bellina wonderfully put the link right there, folks, so check it out. Good stuff. All right, let's get rid of that. Myrrh is a horrible Christian music label? Really? That's great. That's great. I didn't know that. And Michael, what? Oh, I don't know that. The BG Bites? That sounds familiar though. But myrrh, as I was starting to talk about, myrrh is great. It's very antibacterial, kind of like neem oil, or what's the one from Australia? Tea tree oil. You know, I think it's in that same family of kind of tree-based, plant-based oils and fats that have incredible properties: antibacterial, antiparasitic, antioxidant. Amazing. Plants are really amazing. BG Bites, though, that's ringing a bell. I remember that. I'm picturing the little BG Bites. Zucchini BG Bites? That's what comes up. Wow, they look like little muffins. They look tasty. I remember that name though, BG Bites. Yeah. Anyway, did they have Spirulina in there, I guess? Yeah. So I didn't know that about the Christian music label. Andrew Schumann, how are you, my friend? Greetings from, what's the name of the album? Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Bruce Springsteen. I just had the one and only David Sanchez as a guest a couple weeks ago. Right, okay, Spirulina Sesame Streets. Exactly, I kind of pictured them. Yeah, that name rings a bell. Man, in my time in retail, of course, we went through thousands of products, tens of thousands, can I say? Probably in the aggregate. But anyway, many, many, many thousands. So it's funny the ones you remember, and I just remembered a couple today that I haven't seen in a while. This, don't want to step on this. Look at what's on the ground here. Recognize that? Mini disc, folks. We still use mini disc around here. And I have to do some archiving. Let's put that back. All right, so I'm just going to go 2 hours today. I'm going to wrap up quite shortly, but what did you have for lunch? Andrew Schumann, what vegan amazing food did you have? I hear there's a great new place in Keyport, New Jersey. There's a great place in Little Silver. Have you been to that place in Little Silver? Wow, great place. I think it's all raw, and at least it's all vegan, and yeah, Little Silver, New Jersey. What's the name of that place? What's up with you, Andrew? Any, tell me if some cool new food in Monmouth County, because it's really been just exploding there. Let's see. What's the name of this place in? What's the name of that place? Because there's good karma, right? In Good Karma in Red Bank. And I'm just slipping the name of this incredible place in Little Silver. The names escape me. Anyway, if you know about it, please say. But so many good places around that central Jersey, though. Really, really great. I really have to say, happy to have been a part of it, too. Part of these new places that open up there. Yeah, what's this place called? Anyway, you know what it is when you're like, it's right at the tip of my tongue. I'm trying to remember it. Michael, yeah, the size of a quarter, right? In a little plastic thing. Yeah, I totally remember those. I just can't remember. You grew up in a new age occult bookshop / health food store in Northport, Long Island. Wow. So your dad was an herbalist and nutritionist. You've seen it all. Yeah, you've seen all this stuff come through. I know. That's the thing in this world of natural foods, of natural living, of optimizing natural health. There's a bunch of snake oil. There's a bunch of bullshit, and a bunch of foods that people just, come on, man. That's still a white flour biscuit or a cracker. Like, because you put goji berries in it doesn't make it. Yeah, so there's that whole thing too. The adding a good ingredient to shit is a whole discussion we could have. Because you did see that. You had things that were, frankly, candy bars, and then they'd put, some spirulina in there. And so when you bite in, it's green, which doesn't take much spirulina, by the way. So, yeah, there's a whole host of that, and the fat-free stuff. But having said that, my stance always is, so then we need to be smarter, right? You need to be smarter and know more about food, nutrition, minerals, vitamins, nutrients that you need, good fats. Where do you get fiber? Where do you get protein? What are amino acids? What's linoleic acid? What is this? What's omega-3, 6, 9? What do those 3 types of fats mean? What's saturated fat? What's unsaturated fat? We talked about it at the beginning of the show. LDL, HDL, serum cholesterol, total. I'm just a big advocate that none of that shit's really complicated. None of it is, but it requires to fucking care and take a little time for your own health. I mean, I know people who know the names of every player on the Giants or the Cardinals or the Lakers or the Heat, right? You probably do too. You might be one of those people. They could tell you everything about the Yankees '83 team and who's getting traded right now. And that's fine, right? Whatever floats your boat. But I'm always puzzled that we can take so much time, or I could sit here and talk to you about synthesizers and, Tom Oberheim and what Dave Smith invented in 1973 and how this company became sequential circuits, but then this company bought them, and then Cord came out with this. And, I got all this crap in my head, but I also have all this stuff in my head. So I'm always wondering to people, it's like, you know how to retain info, you know how to look stuff up, so why do we have this cultural resistance to learn about our health and learn about these simple topics, How do I build my digestion? How do I build and optimize my immune system? How do I really get strong bones and really do it? Not fucking drinking milk, because that doesn't do it. But how do I really get, silica and magnesium and potassium and how do I really get minerals into my system? How do I really get fat-soluble vitamins in my food? Vitamin K, vitamin D, E, A. It's something I'll do the rest of my life. Try to encourage people. And I was encouraging people in the late 80s when you had to really go get a book and flip through and look at 3 books and form some sort of an understanding. Now, holy shit, man, you're really lazy if you're not doing it now. Because you can go to WebMD, where you get a little bit of a critical view of this stuff, but quite supportive. You can go to Nature and National Geographic and New England Journal of Medicine. I look at their stuff all the time. Look at the CDC. Look at various medical organizations. And then look at things like Dean Ornish or Physicians for Responsible Medicine. Look at the range of things. The info's out there. So Michael says, you were the 8-year-old eating Spirulina treats in the shop. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, Paul Winter's whale songs. That's awesome. I could have been the produce manager or the cashier at said store. I'm probably a good. How old are you? Are you 40 even? Because I'm a good 15 years older than you. I could have been the guy behind the counter because I remember those Paul Winter albums, and I went to see Paul Winter because of my health food store life growing up. I saw Paul Winter at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York City, up by Harlem. Great cathedral, incredible. So I saw him, and I saw Oregon, who would also be playing in those health food stores, right? Oregon with Paul McCandless and the amazing Ralph Towner, right, on guitar, and Colin Walcott, I think, who passed away. Wow, Oregon. Haven't thought about them in a while. But that's total health food store music. Oh my God. Put on the first Oregon album and you can smell the carob and the nutritional yeast and, the hippie farts and the tofu Szechuan nuggets or whatever. You remember all the crazes, oat bran, colostrum, short colors. Yeah, these are all. What's funny is that each of those is fine on their own. And you put it properly. A good product and then a craze gets superimposed on it, and that's where it goes to hell. Because then it's Time magazine, take oat bran! And then people start scooping oat bran into their yogurt, which is counterintuitive from the get-go. Throw the fucking yogurt away. That's garbage. Especially what you're buying in America. Dannon, with how many grams of sugar and not to mention dead milk. It's pasteurized. You're not getting these incredible live benefits of true, raw, old school yogurt. It's nothing to do with it. I used to love those commercials in the 70s for Dannon. They showed all the Russian people going up the steps of, the near, St. Petersburg or Vladivostok or something, and they had them in Russian garb, and they were so fit, and they showed them eating yogurt, and it's like, no, they're not eating Dannon. They're eating Dannon. They're using the milk of a ewe or a goat or some mountain yak, and yes, sometimes a cow, but it's raw. They squeezed it out of the teats of that animal themselves, set it down. The natural germs that they're not pasteurizing are already helping that milk to break down. And then they would add a culture, and then they would let it sit, usually at room temperature or outdoor ambient temperature, covered up for 2 days or something, a couple of days. It's not Dannon. So anyway, it reminded me of that, Michael, because then people took yogurt and added oat bran and then a year went by and they realized, okay, my cholesterol's the same. I haven't lost any weight. I still have incredible allergies. They're worse now because I'm actually eating, 32 ounces of dairy a day, trying to, my skin's worse. Yeah, because you're eating 30 or 40 mammalian hormones, and increasingly from the 70s to now, dozens of pesticides, growth hormones, antibiotics, steroidal stuff, vaccines. Oh, great, big mix of stuff. But I put oat bran in it. So how is this not working? I put wheat germ in there. And so then what happened, what had happened was, that would happen, and then a year and a half later, people would go, oh, well, it's all a lie. This health food stuff, it's bullshit. I tried it. I put wheat germ into my ice cream or, into this or that, and I still ate pork chops, and I still ate white bread, and I still ate margarine, and I still ate high fructose corn syrup, and I still had, cheap fast food, and nothing worked. I added wheat germ. That stuff is bullshit. It's amazing, and the cycle continues. So that happened, Michael. You thanks for triggering that thought, because that happened with oat bran and colostrum and shark cartilage. Colostrum is really fascinating stuff. It's COLO actually, but I won't quibble. And it's the first substance in mother's milk. So it's incredible. It's incredible. And all humans should experience that first wave of milk from their mother's breast. Wow, it's this is an area I get pretty judgmental on. It's humans are interesting because most other mammals in the wild, assuming they're not under incredible stress at that moment, like their habitat is under threat, or they're in an area where they're being hunted massively by apex predators or whatever. But let's just pick a mammal that's living a pretty sweet life. There's a pretty good population density and stable, ecosystem. At pretty much at 100%, those mammals, when they give birth, their offspring will drink the milk at somewhere near 100%, right? And again, removing all those mysterious stressors that I just brought up, or normal stressors. And what's funny is they will drink their own milk. They will drink the milk of just their own species. And the first thing in mammalian milk that you get is colostrum. It's this kind of richer bonus substance that's in the milk. I think it extends for some time, right? In the breastfeeding. But anyway, it's at the front end of the breastfeeding, and Incredible stuff, and it's very, here it is, colostrum, the first secretion from the mammary glands after giving birth, rich in antibodies. Colostrum is the first form of milk produced by the mammary glands of mammals, immediately following delivery of the newborn. Most species will begin to generate colostrum just prior to giving birth. Colostrum has an extremely high amount of bioactive compounds compared to mature milk. As I was saying, it's different. To give the newborn the best possible start to life. So it's this supercharged, extra shit for the baby wolf or fox or human or dog or cat or ocelot or, bear. You name a mammal, donkeys, horses, goats, buffaloes. So colostrum, so someone looked at all that and said, wow, special stuff. Let's package it and give it to humans. Wow, that was so fucking crazy at that time. I remember it. I think we might have sold some. We weren't huge on it. I think we would special order it, I think. Because we would steer people to, like, why would you need that? You're not a baby cow. Why are you taking the thing that nature perfected for baby cows? Which doesn't mean it wouldn't be okay for you, but you're just asking people, like, what's your pathway to this? Because, you can get a lot of the results through plant-based. But some people got some real help from colostrum because a lot of people are just immune deficient, and deficient in a lot of minerals and a lot of the elements that are inside, excuse me, that are inside something like colostrum. So, but you're right, it was a trend, and when it didn't turn people into super beings, they got mad and they moved on. So, hey, Todd Reynolds. Yes, reverb. I got some reverb today. I was just experimenting. And for the nerds in the room, again, I'm using a cheap old. This is just, you can find these for, I don't know, $50, $75. What's cool about this is, hey, I've got echo.
Right. I've got echo.
I can do some Pink Floyd kind of a thing here. Hey. So you get the picture. Echo platter. Yeah. A little Pink Floyd at the Pompeii or something. Let's see. Hey. It's on the insert. Channel. I won't mess around with too much of that. Let's go back to. Hey, phaser sounds good. Let's go back to the reverb. Yeah. Oh, you can do the Battlestar Galactica. Okay, let me get back to where we were. Here we go, spring reverb. Let's turn that down. But it's a new day here at Meatless Monday because I've got effects. I've been turned loose by pulling out some old effects. And the poor sharks, right? The shark cartilage, right? When that didn't end cancer on Earth, people got mad at the sharks. It's like, don't blame me. They fucking killed a lot of sharks, bro, just for fucking shark cartilage. Humans. Don't get me started. You are a nutritionist. I didn't know that. So you are a, obviously trained, certified nutrition expert. That's awesome. I'll stop. No, you're not hogging the feed, bro. That's awesome. You've provided some great content and cued a bunch of great stuff. Andrew says Kayak Kitchen in Belmar. Okay. Oh, alternative plate in Lake Como. Kayak Kitchen. Wow, I never heard of that. All right, I'll look that up. Is that a new, vegan place? Or there was a couple places in Belmar through the years. Kaya's Kitchen, right? Not. Did you say kayak? Okay, there was a typo on your part. Okay. Oh yeah, Kaya's Kitchen. I know. Kaya's Kitchen was great. That's been there for some years. I think I've definitely been there many years ago. Yeah, Kaya's Kitchen is great. And they have a place in Princeton called the Planted Plate. Very cool. Yes, I do know Kaya's, and I applaud them still being there. That's cool. Though Kayak Kitchen is a good name too, right? Because you have the people taking kayak rides. And then there's Alternative Plate in Lake Como. Don't know that one. Wow, okay, Alternative Plate looks good. Make better your life, one bite at a time. Exactly. And so they're. I'm just trying to get a glance at the menu here. Oh yeah, there we go. I like their vibe already. So they've got a Krabby Patty and an organic bun with spiked tartar sauce. So that must be some kind of, simulation of seafood type of flavoring. Nice. Double stuffed portobello mushroom with caramelized onion, roasted red pepper, mozzarella, smoked Gouda, and sriracha mayo. Then there's the double stuffed portobello burger. This is why I don't like these when they use these words. So it says there's a chicken cutlet, Parmesan. Is that chicken, like the dead animal, or is that like some seitan, wheat gluten thing? I hate that when they just call it chicken, because shit goes really bad sometimes, and I've had it go bad. I have never, but my late partner, we were out one time, and well, that was just a fuck up, actually. That was a fuck up. Sorry, take that back. But I know people who've gotten stuff, and I just don't like it. That's just me. I mean, you can like it, but I don't like when they call it beef or call it. Why? We have beef. We have pork. Let them fucking keep that. I hate when words are reused, and then people are like, "Well, it means something totally different now." So, anyway, so this place has they're just not saying it when they say chicken parmesan, chicken cutlet. But the next thing on the menu says plant-based vegan pork roll, egg and cheese. Okay, they put it there, so you've got no. And then right next to it, though, it's got the loaded pork roll, organic egg and cheese, bacon sausage, pork roll. So does that one have meat? Flesh? You tell me, Andrew, is this place all vegan? Because they're not consistent. Sometimes they say plant-based beef or pork, and sometimes they don't. So that's weird. But it looks great. Yeah, it looks like, comfort food, right? Eggplant parm and buffalo tofu pizza and just fun stuff. Grandma's pie, organic taco. Yeah, looks cool. You just let me know, though. Is it all vegan and they're just... I'm just not seeing a thing on the site saying everything is... Yeah, okay, not a big deal. I love it, though. I love it, bro. I love that there's a bunch of options and that there's, cool places that are popping up. Very cool. Everywhere we go, right, these days, new restaurants. Frank Bellina, Baba Ganache in Keyport. I don't know about that. I know about a new place in Keyport. I don't know the name. I didn't think it was that. Someone turned me on to Papa Ganache. Papa Ganache, right? I think, doesn't Mumbo even work there? Yeah, very cool. That is so crazy and fucking little, not so progressive Keyport, New Jersey. Go figure. But there's also a vegan restaurant in Keyport, New Jersey, or vegetarian. which is amazing. I mean, I grew up for a bunch of years. Let's see, 1978 to about 88, I moved out, 88, 89. So about 10 years of my life, but about 30 years in New Jersey. And I was vegetarian for the last 4 or 5 years. I lived in Hazlitt, New Jersey. So I would have been great if there's these places. So there's Sunshine Cafe and Nature's Plate Cafe and Juice Bar. That's the one in Keyport, New Jersey. I need hydration. All right, folks, wrapping up here, but just kind of riffing on some great restaurants. Michael, okay, you're 47. So 9 years younger than me. So yeah, I started working in natural foods stores and restaurants. That's the thing. I've been a waiter. I've been a busboy. I've been, dude, people, you just got to do whatever it takes. I cut lawns for a long time. I had about, I don't know, probably got to just under 10 customers. That was my thing for a while. I had a little business. I've made food. I've owned a food production business, making organic salsa and distributing it to about a dozen stores and health food stores, farm markets. You do whatever it takes. Bussing tables, though, and then being a waiter, which is one, step above. You learn a lot there about how much fucking food people waste and also how much garbage they eat. Very instructive. But I started in natural foods, Michael. If you're 9 years younger, I was, let's see, would have been 19. I think 89. So I was 24. You would have been 15. So you were well into your natural foods kind of young lifestyle. But I was definitely at that place. Spirulina, you had a romaine salad, linguine fini with vegan Trader Joe's pesto fillets. Sounds great. You had me at romaine salad. And hey, Manny Reese, I'm Andre 3001, bro. I go one step louder. Right? Something like that. Something like that. So I'm Andre 3001. Where's the beef? Yeah, the beef it's impossible beef these days, Manny Reese. Manny. I was probably, let's see, when did we meet? Yeah, I was probably vegetarian the whole time I've known you, bro. We've probably had a meal somewhere sometime. But thanks to our dear friend Mark Dobry, I met Dana, the keyboard player from Providence. And I was one of those first vegetarians I met. And I was like in around 83, and I started going, wow, so what the fuck? You don't eat any meat. But this is wild, man. So you're telling me chicken, beef, pork? So right when I met you, bro, so there's no beef around here for that whole time, 37 years. Triluk Gurtu, yeah, he replaced, who died? Colin Walcott. Because then you had Codona, which is the first two letters, Colin, Don Cherry, and None of Us Concelos. What a band. Woo! Cadona. That's some good shit right there. But sadly, Colin Walcott died. I did see him play once. Then they got Trila Gertu, who I love and have a bunch of his records. Loved when he was with John McLaughlin, and his solo stuff is amazing. Ralph Towner, too. He's one of the more unsung. He's just there. And even my boss, Steve Howe, I say even only because people revere Steve, rightfully so, is one of the greatest kind of progenitors of classical guitar in terms of bringing it into other forms. I mean, it's one thing, Sharon Isbin and John Williams, right? Is that his name? And Segovia and that whole thread of people, Manuel Barrueco, and there's so many great classical players. But they're in the classical lane, right? They play classical music, so they're awesome. But these people who've taken classical, like my boss Steve Howe, like Steve Hackett, like so many wonderful players, and put it into other things, into prog rock, art rock. So Ralph Towner is one of those people where it's funny that he doesn't get mentioned as much with that, because wow, just hands down, he's one of the greatest, and he's presented nylon string classical, whatever you want to call it, within that world music thing of Oregon, that health food store music. I love it. And but Ralph Towner, still with us, still putting out solo records, and also with a lot of synthesizers, actually, and different stuff. Syncastre, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Syncastre. I'll take an extra toasted oat bran. Toasted egg bran with extra butter, exactly. There's the commercial. That's great. Oh, that's great. Thank you, man. I remember this. Yep. A large part of the diet is yogurt. A large number of them live past 100. Now we're not saying Danyan yogurt will help you live longer, but it's a wholesome natural food, rich in nutrition. I remember that guy. Wow, that's great. The last guy. That's awesome. That's awesome. That is funny. Thank you, man. Wow, what a blast from the past. That's a fun. That's great. Thank you, Michael Bernier. That's that commercial. Tiger milk bars aren't making me buff or cut. Exactly. Todd says, me neither. Andrew, yes, Kaya's Kitchen. Yeah, alternative plate, vegan Reuben. And, oh, by the way, Michael, yeah, you had a tempeh Reuben. I said that earlier. That's awesome. I love that. And Andrew, sounds like there's a nice vegan Reuben at this place. Oh, it's all vegan. Okay, that's great. And but you see my problem, right? I mean, if you're gonna, why just call it beef and chicken? It's a recipe for disaster. Here's where it's a recipe for disaster: when you have people who are not vegetarian and they're going to order food for you, or the waiters get confused. I've seen it a lot, and I just think, again, not a problem in an all plant-based restaurant, because you walk in, it says it on the wall. I've been to many Chinese places like this in San Francisco, and when we were out in San Francisco, I think I made it to a vegan Chinese dim sum place. And again, when you walk in and it says it on the door, there's no death of animals involved in our food, there's no flesh, there's no blood, then you're like, okay. You see the menu, it says chicken this, pork that, you know what they're talking about. But it's always funny when it's a place with both. That's why I'll never fucking have a Burger King Impossible Burger. Are you kidding me? No, not interested. I never was. I said this from the beginning. Number one, they're cooking this shit all together. Number two, is that teenage kid making $8.93 an hour gonna give a fuck if, he's looking down and goes, now, which one was the vegan one? That's with the red wrapper or the blue wrapper? I don't know. Shh. Here you are, sir. Yeah. Frank Lena says exterminate. Yeah, well, I missed what that is. What's that referring to? I mean, eliminate, exterminate. Sorry. I know the Sonic Youth song, incinerate. Incinerate. Right, Andrew, I got that. Everything's vegan. And again, though, they were inconsistent on the menu. It's like if you don't know, and if I was traveling and I just Googled that, I just have a problem when places are inconsistent. Because again, right on their menu, they said something about a pork roll, egg, and cheese thing, and it said plant-based. And then the other side, it just said pork roll, egg, and cheese. So again, you know it's plant-based, but you hear what I'm saying. Because I do this when I'm on the road. You quickly Google something. Someone might have suggested it, and you look. And if I had seen that, I would have went, I don't have time to figure this out. Do they have pork there also? That's what it looks like. Because they didn't have anything at the top, at the beginning of the menu, saying everything here is plant-based. So, yeah, just tricky with places. Blame Art Bell for pushing shark cartilage. Yeah, he sure did, right? More cowbell. Sabine, how are you? Just saying hi. Good to see you. Hopefully you saw the Dorit Chrysler interview I did the other day. Live from Berlin. Andrew, you became a vegetarian at a pig roast. I know, bro. And as you said, and you also being on the road with me for 6 weeks or whatever we were, as you said later, you got these little suggestions. Just watching me, where we all lived in Clarence Clemens' workout room, sleeping on the floor. And we had that one shower, one bathroom with one microwave oven and a little fridge. And somehow we didn't kill each other. But you used to make fun of me, though. You used to be like, what are you eating now? You know, what's that? Miso, great. You know, having another potato? What's this tempeh stuff? You were pretty harsh, bro. And it was cool. I mean, at the point, I just rolled my eyes. At that point, I was, 8 years vegetarian, so I was used to any kind of nonsensical commentary. But I was blown away after all that when you said to me a few years later, guess what? Last person I would have expected. So good stuff, bro. Good to see you here. Manny says, when are you coming to Jersey? No plans, bro. I got nothing on the books. September, October, though. I might be on this tour with Brand X. Remember Brand X with Percy Jones, John Goodsall? Unfortunately, it's not Percy Jones, so it's just called Brand now. But, yeah, let's see what happens. No plans, though. And no leisure trips. We're still not. This is not time for leisure trips yet, man. We're second worst numbers on planet Earth. Second worst. And who's worse? India. That time when only India has shittier numbers than you. And we're just all rushing out to the bars and the amusement parks and going on vacations. I don't know. Fuck that shit. Let's wait just a little bit. How about till we're number 10 on planet Earth? Out of 212 countries or whatever. How about that if we set that goal? Let's get to, number 10 out of 200 before we start packing Yankee Stadium. I guess I'm just crazy. I guess I'm just, it's just me. Yeah. It's just a bunch of us, but second worst numbers on Earth. And that's recent. India only took over 2 months ago or something, if that. And we walk around here and again, we have numbers that are pretty much on par with where they were last August, September, October. right now. And we're calling it success because we're looking at what it was in December, January, February, which was way up here, and we brought it back down to here, which is where we were in August, September, October. But because it was so sky high in February, and we brought it to only insane levels, we're running around saying it's really the most remarkable mass psychosis experiment I've ever read about or heard about. And what's fascinating is to be in the middle of it. Because this notion of convincing yourself that, you could look at so many other metrics. It's like, let's say you were morbidly obese and you had gotten up to 450 pounds, right? And you started at 150 pounds. And you gain, that's a little absurd, I guess, but let's say you're 150 pounds, but that's the whole idea of morbidly obese. Let's say you gain 150 pounds, now you're 300. This happens, right? And then you lose some weight and you're down to, 250. Well, that's a lot of weight. You lost 1/6 of your weight. That's, wow, commendable. That's fantastic, actually. It's great. But you're still, very, very overweight for, your height and all that stuff. So you wouldn't stop then and just say, oh, awesome, let's go back to eating cheesecake and not exercising and no, you'd still, you'd keep the fire burning. You'd say, yeah, I'm not done yet. And that's what I feel like we're like here. Lori LS, how are you? You eat whole food plant-based, so you don't eat fake meat, right? People assume I will eat processed Beyond Meat, which is kind of them to try, but nah, not for me. Yeah, exactly, that's kind of my view. I do have these things from time to time, and that came out of, again, almost 20 years of natural foods retail, where I think back in the early 90s, you had Eve's, who had these burgers and sausages, I think, I can't remember. And you had these different things. And I would try them. You have to, because you're working. Someone's going to ask you. And it was fun. It is fun. Me personally, it's fun to get a grill, and a virgin grill with no blood and pus and animal waste on it. It was always fun. I don't have a grill right now, but I have in the past. Wow, that was such fun to, have a burger, toast the bun, do the whole thing, pickle the onions. It's fun. Because that brown, round thing that's a burger doesn't really, you don't look at it and you can't tell it's a cow till you're told it's a cow, right? You think about that. There's a time in your life until you're, depending on your parents and people around you, you could be 5, 6, 7 years old and not know that this sandwich that you love is that same cute animal in the book you're coloring. Right? I love that moment. I love being around kids that find the fuck out that they're eating Bessie, that they're eating the cute chicken that they met at the farm or something. I love that moment. I crave being around to see that shit. Because the dissonance and I've been a substitute teacher for years, so I've gotten to bring it up to kids when we're playing with farm animals and stuff. But it's a real serious thing. And so jumping ahead, so the burger doesn't really tell you that it's meat. It just tells you it's a cylindrical, a disc-shaped brown or dark thing that you slip between some baked grain, and you add a paste made from a vegetable and a slice of an onion and some pickles of another vegetable, and a paste made from the seeds of something called mustard, and you put it all there, and you eat it. So we've replaced that brown disc with things made of peas or black beans or soy or wheat gluten or mushrooms or any combination. But I'm with you, yeah. I just have them once in a while as a treat, as a kind of a, and as a professional, I had them to know my job. But you're right, Lori, this place we're at now where people think that that's you know, that filling your day with, you know, plant-based sausage in the morning, and then plant-based cold cuts for lunch, and then plant-based steak and plant-based burgers. Yeah, it's a little weird if that's, you know, the predominant kind of dietary choice, which you see a little bit, you know. Andrew Schumann, okay, good friends with the guy Pete. Okay, hey man, you know, you don't have to do that on my behalf, but I appreciate that. But you know, again, I say it for the travelers. I say it for the people who, because I encounter that a lot. As you know, I travel a lot. And that's one of those things, many times I look something up and I'm gonna make a decision really fast. And if there's any kind of unclear stuff, I just go somewhere else. So, Sabine, I know that the interview, there was a really bad audio problem. It was all my fault. Man, I feel so bad about that. If you go back and watch it, I edited it and I cleaned it up, and it's only the last 40 minutes or so, and it's really good. 35 minutes or something, and it's all proper that you can hear. So, Andrew Schumann, I survived on baked potatoes and jalapeno peppers. That's great. You know, I had some other stuff. I remember having a lot of miso, actually. I made a lot of miso soup. I just remember that, because that was easy. All you needed was hot water and miso. At that point, I wasn't as hardcore, I think, with not touching anything out of a microwave. So I think I'd probably microwave a cup of water and just pour it and put the miso. And I remember I had miso paste, but I also had those miso packets. So I'd make some quick soup. And then once I started borrowing Clarence's bicycle, I remember Clarence Clemens, folks, we lived in his house. I started biking on his bicycle every day, which was great. And I would ride all the way to like health food stores in Sausalito, in Marin, and I found all my, So I got a little, much more diverse. Once we were there, I would go buy, guacamole or, tempeh salad and things like that. But yeah, totally, a lot of baked potatoes. When we left New Jersey, I baked, I think, 2 dozen potatoes, wrapped them in foil, and I had a little thing, and I was like, at least I'll have a baked potato, once or twice a day, and I did. And Sharon, how are you? Yes, I'm still on. I'm rapping, though. Oh, I see. Frank Bellini, you're talking about the vocal effect. Exterminate. Yeah, very good. Very good. That's awesome. Sabine, who says, okay, your numbers are down again. You're opening up. Yesterday, restaurants open. Okay, that's good. And numbers are down in a lot of places. And numbers are down in a lot of places in the United States. The Bay Area of San Francisco, I was reading about that. Very good, because they have high vaccinations. People are sticking with the program. And they have a much higher average percentage, not much, but significantly higher of percentage of people vaccine than the national average. So they've got a little curve there. So, and Lori says, yeah, fun with anything. Black bean, quinoa, that's what I'm saying, the whole spectrum. Whether it's made from peas or corn or black beans, which I said, tempeh burger. Oh, I love tempeh burger. It's probably my favorite. Quinoa, all these things. But I'm okay with the Impossible and Beyond Burger existing. It's fine. I think one of them is soy-free, right? Isn't it Beyond wheat gluten and things like that? There's a kelp mushroom one I just saw on my Instagram feed. I might order it. I like to try them out. So yeah, I don't have a problem per se with the soy and wheat sort of things. Like you said, though, and I agree, if it brings people in who are total, like, they love a McDonald's type burger, and if this is a way that they can get that texture, and I love it, because then maybe they'll try quinoa or tempeh. Sharon Lunch, okay. Happy belated birthday. Wow, okay, you had Nepali veg Wow, that's great. That's ate by the river. Awesome. Carrot dogs. That's great. My favorite because I eat this. Yeah, I love sauerkraut. Well, I just eat sauerkraut. In fact, I'm going to go have some lunch, and it's going to be pickles. It's going to be sauerkraut and kimchi because I want to finish up some kimchi. And I have some roasted veggies and some other stuff. And some seitan. You know, Rob made a seitan salad, like a chicken salad. Sabina, did I hear about the airplane Belarus forced? I know, man. It was a Ryanair, right, or some commercial airline. Yeah, that gets very asymmetric. This shit, and that's the kind of shit that's going to, one wrong move and you piss off the wrong, Things are so fraught right now. Yeah, Belarus forces airliner to land and arrests opponent, sparking U.S. and European outrage. That is outrageous because forced down by, MiG fighter. Kanaus. Closest I've been to Belarus is right next door in Lithuania. I've been there twice. So this is a journalist, huh? Wow. This guy's punished because he broadcasted images showing abuse of protests. That's dark shit, man. Yeah. I don't stand for that shit, man. No. Once you get into kind of international. Unbelievable. Yeah, I did read that. Wow. That's a major free speech nightmare, like sending jets out to get a fucking right. Okay. Yes, they said there was an alarm for a bomb. Well, yeah. Okay, good. Belarus is not flying. Good. You have to have immediate consequences. I like it. All right, my immediate consequences are I've got to finish the show. So thank you, folks. Unlike last week, I will end all the streams